The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was huge. Its walls reached up so high that clouds formed near the ceiling. 47 different alien species sat in their special seats, arranged in a perfect circle around the center stage. Today the air felt heavy with anger and fear. Ambassador Daeho Kim walked slowly to the center of the hall. His black suit was simple and clean. His face showed no emotion, but his dark eyes were sharp and alert. Behind him walked 3 other humans. They wore the same simple clothes and carried the same calm look. The humans looked so small compared to the giant aliens around them. The hegemony leader Vexteran was 3 times taller than any human. His skin was like gray stone, and his 4 eyes glowed red with anger. The Zephyrian Trademaster had tentacles that moved like angry snakes. The Korthok war chief's teeth were as long as human fingers. But Daeho Kim did not look scared. He had been Earth's voice in this council for 5 years. He had seen these aliens angry before. Today felt different though. Today felt final. Council Prime Vexteran stood up when he spoke. His voice was like thunder rolling across mountains. Human delegation, you stand accused of breaking galactic law. 847b, you have expanded to worlds that are forbidden. You have built colonies on planets that our science says cannot support life. You refuse to follow our rules. Dr. Boram Lee, the human scientist, almost smiled. She had spent 3 years proving that humans could live on worlds other species called death planets, worlds with high gravity, worlds with dangerous storms, worlds with acid rain. Humans did not just survive on these worlds, they made them beautiful. Vexteran continued his speech. You also break law 9-3c. You give help to species that are not part of our council. You do this without asking us first. This is not allowed. Captain Yunji Park stood very still. She remembered the Thraxi children they had saved last year. The Thraxi were a small, peaceful species. Pirates had attacked their home world. The Galactic Council said it would take 2 years to approve help. Captain Park's ships arrived in 2 days. They saved 3 million Thraxi lives. The Council called this illegal interference. And finally Vextan's voice grew louder. You break the most important law of all. Law 001A. You act like you are equal to species that have been in space for thousands of years. You are new. You are young. You must learn your place. This was the real problem. This was why they were all here today. Humans had joined the Galactic Council only 12 years ago. Most species took hundreds of years to become important members. But humans were different. They learned fast. They worked hard. They solved problems that other species could not solve. In 12 years, human technology had jumped forward like a rocket. Human colonies grew faster than weeds. Human trade ships were everywhere. Human soldiers were so good that other species asked for them by name. This made the Orc species nervous. Trade Minister Soyoung Han watched the alien faces around the hall. She could read fear in their strange features, fear that humans would soon be too powerful to control. Vexteran waved his massive hand. The Galactic Council has decided. Humans will accept new limits. You will close half of your colonies. You will stop helping other species without our permission. You will accept council observers on all your worlds. You will do this, or face punishment. The hall went quiet. Every alien eye looked at the small human delegation in the center. Ambassador Kim took 1 step forward. He looked up at Vexteran without fear. When he spoke, his voice was clear and calm. Respected Council Prime, we thank you for your guidance over these past years. We have learned much about galactic politics and law. Some aliens relaxed. They thought the humans would give in like always, Kim continued. However, we must respectfully decline your ultimatum. The word decline hit the hall like a bomb. Several aliens gasped. The Zephyrian Trademaster's tentacles stopped moving. Even Vexteran's red eyes went wide. We decline, Kim said again, to close colonies where human families have built their homes. We decline to stop helping others who ask for our aid. We decline to accept observers who treat us like children who cannot be trusted. Dr. Lee stepped forward. Our colonies on forbidden worlds are not just surviving, they are thriving. We have turned dead rocks into garden worlds. We have proof that life can exist where your science says it cannot. Captain Park spoke next. Our help to other species has prevented 6 wars and saved millions of lives. We are proud of this work, Trade Minister Han added. Our economic growth benefits everyone. Human trade has increased galactic commerce by 30%, but it was Kim who delivered the final blow. Most importantly, we decline to accept that being new means being lesser. We believe that respect is earned through actions, not age. The hall exploded into noise. Aliens shouted in dozens of languages. Some stood up and shook their weapons. Others argued with their neighbors. The sound was like a storm made of voices. Vexteran raised his hand for silence. His voice was dangerous now. You dare refuse the will of the Galactic Council. Kim nodded slowly. We do more than refuse your ultimatum. Council Prime, we withdraw from this council entirely. The explosion of noise this time was even louder. Several aliens fell out of their seats. Others started typing frantically on their communication devices. The Korthok war chief roared so loud that dust fell from the ceiling. Effective immediately, Kim continued over the chaos. The Terran Federation ends its membership in the Galactic Council. We will remove our people from all joint operations. We will recall our ships from Council space. We will end all military and economic agreements. Vexter and Esper eyes burned like red stars. You cannot do this. No species has ever left the Council. Then we are the first, Kim said simply. Dr. Lee activated a small device. Holographic images appeared in the air above the human delegation. Pictures of beautiful human colonies. Charts showing human achievements. Videos of humans saving alien lives. For 12 years we have given more to this council than we have received, she said. We have shared our technology freely. We have fought in your wars. We have fed your hungry and healed your sick. In return, you have given us rules, restrictions, and disrespect. The images changed. Now they showed human soldiers fighting beside alien troops, human doctors treating alien patients, human engineers building alien cities. Captain Park's voice was steady. We came to the stars hoping to find friends. We found masters instead. We hoped to build a better galaxy together. Instead, we found fear and jealousy. Trade Minister Han spoke last. You fear human success because it shows that your old ways are not the only ways. You fear human growth because you have stopped growing yourselves. Kim looked around the Great Hall one final time. We leave without anger. We leave without threats. We simply leave. The galaxy is big enough for all of us. He turned to his delegation. We are done here. The 4 humans walked toward the exit. Their footsteps echoed in the suddenly quiet hall. Every alien I followed them. At the doorway, Kim paused and looked back. The Terran Federation wishes the Galactic Council well. We hope you find the peace and prosperity you seek. Then they were gone. For a long moment, the Great Hall was silent. Then the shouting began again, louder than ever. Vextron slammed his fist on his podium. Sanctions. We will impose sanctions. They will come crawling back. But even as he shouted, doubt crept into his mind. The humans had not looked defeated when they left. They had looked relieved. In the hallway outside, Ambassador Kim walked with his team toward their ship. For the first time in 5 years, he smiled. Sir, Captain Park asked quietly, what happens now? Kim's smile grew wider. Now, Captain, we show the galaxy what humans can really do when no one is holding us back. Behind them, the sound of arguing aliens grew fainter with each step. The age of human independence had begun. 3 days after the humans left the Galactic Council, President Sun Woo-choi stood before the United Earth Assembly. The Great Hall on Earth was much smaller than the Alien Council chamber, but it felt warmer, more human. President Choi looked out at the faces of Earth's leaders. Men and women from every nation sat together. They had voted together. They had decided together. Earth spoke with one voice now. My fellow humans, President Choi began. We have taken a bold step. Some will call it foolish, some will call it dangerous. I call it necessary. The hall was quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. Humanity was alone now. No more alien protection. No more alien trade agreements. No more alien technology sharing. But also no more alien rules. No more alien disrespect. No more alien fear. Admiral Hyan Su-nam sat in the front row. His uniform was decorated with medals from 6 different wars. Wars where humans had fought beside aliens. Wars where human blood had been spilled for alien causes. He remembered the Battle of Kepler Station. 12 human ships had held the line against Korthok raiders while the alien fleet retreated. The Council had called it acceptable losses. Admiral Nam had called it murder. The withdrawal begins immediately, President Choi continued. Admiral Nam will oversee the recall of all human military forces from Council operations. Admiral Nam stood up. His voice was strong and clear. Mr. President, our forces are scattered across 47 systems. We have soldiers on 18 different worlds. We have ships in 12 different fleets. How long to bring them all home? The President asked. 2 months, sir. Maybe less if we push hard. President Choi nodded. Make it less, Admiral. Our people have served alien masters long enough. Trade Minister So Young-han was also in the front row. She had returned from the council chamber 3 days ago, but she still felt angry. Angry at the years of condescension. Angry at the limits placed on human business. Angry at the taxes paid to alien governments. Minister Han, President Choi said. What about our trade agreements? Han stood up. Mr. President, we have contracts worth 2 trillion credits with council species, food shipments, technology transfers, raw materials. Cancel them all, President Choi said simply. A murmur went through the hall. 2 trillion credits was a lot of money. Sir Han said carefully. That will hurt our economy. President Choi smiled. Minister, our economy survived before we met the aliens. It will survive after we leave them. Besides, I think you will be surprised how quickly new opportunities appear. Han nodded. She was already thinking about the 17 non-council species who had secretly contacted her in the past 3 days. Species who wanted to trade with humans but were afraid of council punishment. Colonel Janae Yoon commanded Earth's evacuation forces. She had the hardest job of all. There were 3 million human civilians living in council space. Families who had built homes on alien worlds. children who had been born under alien suns. Colonel Yoon, President Choi said, our civilians. Colonel Yoon stood at attention. Mr. President, we have started voluntary evacuation. Any human who wants to leave council space will be brought home safely, and those who want to stay. Colonel Yoon's face was grim. Sir, we cannot protect them once our forces withdraw. The aliens have made that very clear. President Choi's expression darkened. Then we make sure everyone knows they have a choice, but we also make sure everyone knows the risks. Across the galaxy, the withdrawal had already begun. On Zephyr Prime, Captain Minho Seo packed up the human trade station. His workers moved quickly and quietly. They had been partners with the Zephyrians for 8 years, but the Zephyrians had sided with the Council. Captain, his second-in-command asked, what about the contracts? We're supposed to deliver food shipments for the next 6 months. Captain Seo looked at the massive cargo holds full of Earth grain. Grain that would feed millions of Zephyrians. Loaded on the ships, all of it, sir. Are we still making the delivery? No, Captain Seo said. We're taking it home. Let the Zephyrians find their own food. On Hegemony Station, Commander Eugene supervised the removal of human technology. The aliens had demanded access to human computer systems as part of their integration protocols. The humans had agreed, sharing their knowledge freely. Now they were taking it all back. Commander, her chief engineer, reported, the aliens are demanding we leave the computers running. They say they need them for station operations. Commander On smiled coldly. Tell them they should have thought of that before they issued their ultimatum. Shut everything down. The engineer grinned. Yes, ma'am. Should we leave them the manuals? What manuals? Commander On asked innocently. In the Outer Rim. General Seo Kijin Park commanded the Joint Alien-Human Defense Force. His soldiers had been fighting pirates and raiders for 3 years. They were good at their job. Very good. The alien commanders. I had always taken credit for their victories. General, his aide reported, Command wants to know if we're really pulling out. The Korthok Empire has been quiet lately, but intelligence says they're planning something big. General Park looked at the tactical displays. 17 human ships, 4,000 human soldiers. The entire defense of this sector depended on them. Double quotes. Yes, we're pulling out, he said. Load everyone up. We leave in 48 hours. Sir, what about the alien colonies here? Without us, they'll be defenseless. General Park was quiet for a long moment. That's not our problem anymore. Back on Earth. The news broadcasts were full of alien reactions. The Zephyrian Trade Council issued a statement calling the human withdrawal economically irresponsible. They warned that both species would suffer from lost cooperation. The hegemony government declared that humans were acting like children and would come crawling back within a year. The Korthok Empire said nothing publicly, but their fleet movements increased by 300%. Dr. Bjoram Lee watched the news in her laboratory. She was working on something new, something the Council had forbidden her to research. A new type of faster-than-light travel that didn't require alien permission or alien refueling stations. Her assistant said, the Thraxi ambassador is here to see you. Dr. Lee looked up. The Thraxi were not part of the Galactic Council. They were too small, too weak, too peaceful. The Council had rejected their membership application 4 times. Ambassador Kalu entered the lab. The Thraxi looked like a cross between a cat and a bird, with soft fur and bright, intelligent eyes. Dr. Lee Kalu said in his musical voice, I bring greetings from the Thraxi Collective. Ambassador, Dr. Lee smiled. It's good to see you, though I'm surprised you're here. We're not exactly popular in the galaxy right now. Kalu's eyes sparkled. Dr. Lee, the Thraxi people remember who saved our children when the pirates came. The Galactic Council said they would help us eventually. Your Captain Park came immediately. Dr. Lee nodded. Captain Park is a good woman. The Thraxi Council has voted. Kalu continued. We formally request a trade and defense agreement with the Terran Federation. Not through the Galactic Council. Directly. Dr. Lee blinked in surprise. Ambassador, that would be unprecedented. Yes, Kalu said happily. The Thraxi are tired of being told we are too small to matter. Perhaps small species should stick together. Before Dr. Lee could answer, her assistant rushed in. Doctor, you need to see this. The news feed showed chaos on 12 different worlds, pirate raids on the Outer Rim, trade route disruptions in the core systems, 3 hegemony colonies reporting technical difficulties with their defense systems. Reporter's voice was excited. In just 1 week since the human withdrawal began, we're seeing widespread disruptions across Council space. Economic analysts say the impact is far greater than anyone predicted. Dr. Lee turned to Ambassador Kalu. It seems the galaxy is discovering what humans were actually doing all these years. Kalu nodded wisely. Perhaps they will learn to miss what they threw away. On Nexus Prime, Council Prime Vexterin stared at the reports flooding his desk. Food shortages on 6 worlds, pirate attacks increasing daily, his own military commanders admitting they couldn't maintain security without human tactical support, and it had only been 1 week. His aide, a nervous Zephyrian named Kalanara, tentatively entered his office. Council Prime, the economic projections are ... troubling. How troubling? Vexterin growled. Sir, if current trends continue, we're looking at a 15% drop in galactic commerce within 6 months. Some systems may face complete economic collapse. Vexteron's 4 eyes burned with fury. The humans are doing this on purpose. They're sabotaging us. Kalanara looked confused. Sir, our reports show the humans are simply leaving there, not attacking anyone. They're not blockading anything. They're just taking their people and going home. Then why is everything falling apart? Vexteron roared. Kalanara was quiet for a moment. Then, very carefully, he said, "Perhaps, sir, because the humans were holding everything together." The silence in the office was deafening. Vex Terran looked out his window at the great city below. Ships from dozens of species filled the sky, but something was missing. The sleek, efficient human vessels that had been everywhere just a week ago. For the first time in his long life, Vexteron began to wonder if he had made a terrible mistake, but his pride was too strong to admit it. "Not yet. The humans will be back," he said firmly. "They need us more." 3 months had passed since humanity left the Galactic Council. 3 months that changed everything. On Nexus Prime, Council Prime, Vexteron looked at his wall of screens. Each screen showed a different crisis. Each crisis was worse than the last. The first screen showed the Outer Rim sectors. Red warning symbols flashed everywhere. Pirates had taken control of 7 star systems. Without human patrol ships, the trade routes were like highways with no police. The second screen showed food riots on Hegemony Core. The agricultural worlds that humans had developed were no longer sending grain shipments. Billions of aliens faced hunger for the first time in centuries. The third screen showed the Korthok Empire. Their fleet had doubled in size. Their raids grew bolder every day. Just yesterday they had attacked a Zephyrian colony and taken 1 million slaves. Vexed, Aide Kalanara entered the office quietly. He carried a datapad full of reports that no one wanted to read. Council Prime Kalanara said softly, "The latest numbers are in." "Tell me," Vexteron said without turning around. "Galactic trade is down 47%. Food production is down 32%. Military effectiveness." Kalanara paused. "What about military effectiveness?" "Down 61%. Sir." Vexteron closed his 4 eyes. 61%. The humans had been 12% of the Council's total military strength. How could losing 12% cause a 61% drop? Sir, Kalanara continued, "I have the analysis from Strategic Command." "Go on." "The humans weren't just 12% of our strength. They were ... the most important 12%. Their tactics won our battles. Their logistics fed our armies. Their intelligence prevented our defeats." Vexteron finally turned around. His face looked older than his 800 years. "You're saying we were dependent on them, sir." "I'm saying they were the engine that made everything else work." Meanwhile, in human space, things looked very different. Admiral Hein Sunam stood on the bridge of Earth's newest battleship, the Soul's Promise. Through the viewing port, he could see the construction of 12 more ships just like it. "Admiral," his chief engineer reported, "the new FTL drives are exceeding all expectations. We're getting 40% better fuel efficiency than the old Council-approved engines." Admiral Nam smiled. "Chief Engineer Taemin Chen deserves a medal." "How did he manage it?" "He says it was easy once he didn't have to follow alien safety regulations that were designed for alien physiology, not human." On the colony world of New Busan, Agricultural Director the Jinno walked through fields of golden grain. "The harvest this year would be the largest in human history." "Director," her assistant asked, "what should we do with the surplus? We're producing 3 times more food than our population needs." Director O looked at the reports on her tablet. 17 non-council species had contacted Earth asking to buy food. Species that the council had ignored or rejected. "Start loading the transport ships," she said. "We have new customers." Dr. Boram Lee worked day and night in her laboratory. Without council restrictions, her research had exploded forward. The new FTL drives were just the beginning. "Doctor," her assistant said excitedly, "the gravity manipulation tests were successful. We can now build cities on worlds with twice Earth's gravity." Dr. Lee grinned. "Excellent. Mark, another 12 worlds is suitable for colonization." "Doctor, that gives us over 300 potential colony sites." The council said there were only 50 worlds suitable for human life in this entire sector. The council, Dr. Lee said, was wrong about many things. But the biggest changes were happening in the Outer Rim. Captain Youngji Park commanded the Soul's Pride as it patrolled the border between human and council space. Her mission was simple: protect human colonies and anyone who asked for help. Today, someone was asking for help. "Captain," her communications officer reported, "we're receiving a distress call from Kepler Station." Captain Park frowned. Kepler Station was in council space. "What's their situation?" "Korthok raiders, ma'am. 3 heavy cruisers. The station's defenses won't last another hour." Captain Park was quiet for a moment. Kepler Station was not her responsibility anymore. It was a council problem, but there were civilians on that station, families, children, all ships. Captain Park announced to her fleet, "Set course for Kepler Station. Maximum speed." "Ma'am," her first officer said quietly, We're not supposed to enter Council space. Then we'll be very quick about it, Captain Park replied. Soul's Pride and her escort ships jumped to hyperspace. They arrived at Kepler Station to find 3 massive Korthok warships bombarding the civilian areas. The station's shields were failing. This is Captain Park of the Terran Federation ship Soul's Pride. She broadcast to the Korthok vessels. You will cease your attack and withdraw immediately. The Korthok commander's laugh was like the roar of a wild animal. Little human, you are far from your Council protection now. We do not fear your tiny ships. Then you're about to learn something new, Captain Park said calmly. The battle lasted exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Human ships moved like dancers, fast and precise. Human weapons hit exactly where they aimed. Human tactics confused and overwhelmed the larger Korthok vessels. When it was over, 2 Korthok ships were disabled and drifting. The third was running away as fast as its engines could carry it. Captain Park opened a channel to Kepler Station. This is the Soul's Pride. Are you in need of assistance? The station commander was a hegemony officer named Thuvel. His voice shook with relief and something else. Something that sounded like respect. Captain Park, this is Station Commander Thuvel. We thank you for your aid, but why? We are not your responsibility anymore. Captain Park smiled. Commander, when people are in danger, they become everyone's responsibility. Captain, I must ask, how did you defeat 3 Korthok heavy cruisers so easily? They are supposed to be among the most powerful ships in the galaxy. Commander, those ships were designed to fight Council fleets using Council tactics. We don't use Council tactics anymore. After the rescue, Captain Park found a priority message waiting for her. It was from Admiral Nam. Captain Park, you are ordered to return to Earth immediately. You have visitors. The visitors were waiting in Earth's diplomatic reception center. 12 different alien species, none of them part of the Galactic Council. Some had been rejected by the Council. Others had never applied. All of them wanted to talk to humanity. Ambassador Daeho Kim met with them one by one. The Thraxi wanted a defense agreement. The Vorthin Collective wanted to buy human technology. The Rimworlds Alliance wanted human help fighting pirates. Each species offered something in return. Rare minerals, scientific knowledge, strategic locations for human colonies. Ambassador Kim, said Kello, the Thraxi representative, we know you are no longer part of the Galactic Council. This makes you more attractive to us, not less. How so? Kim asked. The Council tells us what we can and cannot do. You ask us what we want to do together. Within a week, Earth had signed agreements with 8 new species. Trade agreements, defense pacts, technology sharing deals. The Terran Federation was growing. Back on Nexus Prime, the crisis deepened. Council Prime Kalanara reported. The Korthak Empire has launched a full invasion of the Zephyrian trade routes. 15 systems are under attack. Vexterin felt a headache building behind his eyes. What do our military commanders recommend? They say we need at least 6 months to organize a proper response. Maybe more. 6 months. The Zephyrians will be extinct by then. Sir, there is ... another option. Vexteron looked up sharply. What option? Kalanara looked uncomfortable. The Zephyrian government has officially requested military aid from the Terran Federation. What? Vexteron roared. They can't do that, they're council members. Sir, technically, there's no law preventing council members from seeking help from non-council species. Vexteron stared at his aide. Are you telling me that our own member species are now turning to the humans for protection? Sir, the humans have proven they can defeat Korthok forces quickly and efficiently. Captain Park's victory at Kepler, the station is being talked about throughout the galaxy. Vexteron felt something he had never felt before in his 800 years of life. Fear. Not fear of the Korthok Empire, not fear of pirates or economic collapse. Fear that he had been wrong. Fear that the humans had been right all along. But his pride was still too strong. If you a formal protest, he ordered, any council member who accepts human aid will face sanctions. Kalanara looked sad. Sir, I don't think threats will work anymore. Not when people are dying then. What do you suggest? Vexteron snapped. Kalanara just was quiet for a long moment. Then, very carefully, he said, perhaps it's time to ask the humans to come back. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Vexteron turned back to his wall of screens. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. The galaxy was falling apart, and everyone knew who could fix it. Everyone except his pride. Defense Secretary Donghae Lim stood in Earth's military command center, watching holographic displays of the chaos. Red markers showed Korthok Empire advances. Orange markers showed pirate raids. Yellow markers showed systems in economic collapse. Sir, his aide reported, the Korthok Empire has taken their 15th council world. The Zephyrian government is evacuating their core systems. Secretary Lim nodded grimly. Any word from our expeditionary force? Captain Park's fleet engaged the Korthok 4th Army yesterday. Complete victory, sir. The humans lost 0 ships. The Korthaks lost 12 casualties. 17 humans wounded. No deaths. Korthak casualties are estimated at 40,000. Secretary Lim smiled coldly. Human military technology had advanced dramatically in just 6 months. Without Council restrictions on dangerous weapons research, human engineers had created things that shocked even their own commanders. Weapons that could disable entire fleets without killing anyone, shields that could stop planet-killing lasers, ships that could fly through black holes and come out the other side. The Korthok Empire was learning that conquering Council worlds was easy. Fighting humans was something else entirely. On the colony, world of New Sol, Chief Engineer Taemin Chen finished testing humanity's greatest secret project. Director, he called to his supervisor, the prototype is ready. Director Sang-Ho Park looked at the massive ring floating in space above their planet. It was 3 kilometers across and covered in technology that broke several laws of physics. What are we calling it? Director Park asked. The Einstein Gate, sir. It creates a permanent tunnel through hyperspace. Travel time between any 2 points becomes ... 0. Director Park blinked. 0, as in instant. Yes, sir. We can now connect all human colonies with instantaneous travel and communication. Director Park was quiet for a moment. This changed everything. With instant travel, human space would become one giant, connected civilization. No more months-long journeys between colonies, no more delayed communications across the galaxy. Humanity would become stronger than ever. Meanwhile, on Nexus Prime, desperation had replaced anger in the Council chambers. Council Prime Vexteran looked older than his 800 years. His gray skin had turned almost white. His 4 red eyes were dim with exhaustion around him. The other council members argued constantly. Blame flew like arrows. Everyone pointed fingers at everyone else. The hegemony's military incompetence caused this crisis, shrieked the Zephyrian trademaster. Zephyrian greed invited the Korthok attacks, roared the hegemony war leader. Silence. Vexteran's voice cracked like thunder. Fighting each other will not solve our problems. But even he knew the truth. The council was falling apart. Species were leaving daily. Some joined the Korthok Empire out of fear. Others simply declared independence and tried to survive alone. And some were joining something new. Kalanara entered the chamber with his daily report. Today, his face looked especially grim. Council Prime, he said quietly, I have updates on the human situation. Tell me they're finally suffering. Vex said desperately. Sir, ... They're not. They're thriving. Kalanara activated a holographic display. It showed human space, now twice as large as it had been 6 months ago. Sir, 17 non-council species have signed formal agreements with the Terran Federation. 8 more are in negotiations. The humans are calling it the Terran Commonwealth. Vexteran stared at the display. The Terran Commonwealth controlled almost a quarter of the galaxy now, and it was growing every day. What kind of agreements? He asked. Trade partnerships, defense pact, technology sharing. But sir, here's the important part. Membership is completely voluntary. Any species can leave at any time, and the humans don't demand tribute or obedience. That's impossible, Vexteran said. How do they maintain control? Sir, they don't control anything, they cooperate. Species stay because they want to stay. The concept was so alien to Vexteran that he couldn't understand it. The Galactic Council worked through fear and force. Members obeyed because they had to obey. The humans seemed to lead through ... attraction. Sir, Kalanara continued. There's more. The humans have developed new technologies. Ships that can travel instantly between any 2 points. Weapons that can disable enemies without killing them. Terraforming systems that can turn dead worlds into gardens in months instead of centuries. How Vexteran whispered, Sir, our analysts believe it's because they're not bound by our regulations anymore. Council Law 847C forbids research into dangerous physics. The humans have thrown out that law entirely. Vexteran realized with horror that the Council's own rules had been holding back the most innovative species in the galaxy. Council Prime Kalanara said very quietly, I have a personal message for you. It's from ... Earth. Vexteran's 4 eyes went wide. The humans contacted us, not officially, sir. It's from someone calling himself an informal diplomatic observer. He wants to meet with you privately. Vexteran's pride warred with his desperation. Meeting with the humans would be admitting that the Council needed them, but not meeting with them might mean the Council's complete destruction. Desperation won. Arrange the meeting, he said quietly. 3 days later, on the neutral world of Haven's Rest, 2 figures sat across from each other in a small cafe. One was Kalanara representing the Galactic Council in an unofficial capacity. The other was Foreign Secretary Myung Kang from Earth. Secretary Kang was young by alien standards, only 43 Earth years old, but her eyes held the wisdom of someone who had seen her species grow from Council junior members to galactic power in just 18 months. Secretary Kong Kalanara began nervously. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting. Ambassador Konada. Secretary Kong replied politely. I should clarify that I'm here as a private citizen. The Terran Federation has no official diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council. Kalanara winced. The reminder stung. Of course, he said. I wanted to discuss the current galactic situation. Secretary Kong nodded. It's certainly concerning. The Korthok Empire has become quite aggressive. The Council would like to explore the possibility of renewed cooperation between our peoples. Secretary Kong raised an eyebrow. What kind of cooperation? Kalanara swallowed his pride. The Council recognizes that humanity has developed impressive military capabilities. Perhaps we could work together against common threats. You mean you want human help fighting the Orcs? Yes. In exchange for what? Kalanara had prepared for this question. The Council is prepared to offer humanity senior partnership status, full voting rights, priority access to Council resources. Secretary Kang was quiet for a long moment, then she smiled sadly. Ambassador, 18 months ago, that offer would have thrilled us. We wanted nothing more than to be accepted as equals in the galactic community. And now we realize we were never going to be equals in your system. We were going to be senior-junior partners at best. Kalanara looked confused. I don't understand the difference. The difference is that you're still thinking in terms of hierarchy. Someone giving orders, someone following orders. The Terran Commonwealth doesn't work that way. How does it work? Secretary Kong leaned forward. Ambassador, every species in the Commonwealth has equal say in decisions that affect them. Every species contributes what they can and receives what they need. No one gives orders to anyone else. That sounds like chaos, Kalanara said honestly. It sounds like chaos too. Because you've never seen cooperation without domination. Secretary Kong replied gently. You assume someone has to be in charge because that's how the Council works. Kalanara was quiet for a moment. Secretary, I must ask directly. Is there any possibility of humanity returning to the Council? Secretary Kong's answer was kind but firm. Ambassador, humanity didn't leave the Council because we were angry. We left because we discovered we could be more than what you allowed us to be. I don't understand. For 12 years we tried to fit into your system. We followed your rules. We accepted your limitations. We thought that was the price of belonging. Secretary Kong paused and looked out the cafe window at the busy street. Ships from dozens of species filled the sky, but now many of them bore the symbol of the Terran Commonwealth. But when we finally left, she continued, we discovered something wonderful. We could build something better. Not just for us, but for anyone who wanted to join us. The Commonwealth, yes, a community where everyone belongs, not because they have to, but because they choose to. Kalanara felt something break inside his chest. It might have been hope. Ambassador, Secretary Kong said gently, the door is always open for any species that wants to join us, even Council species, even the Council itself. Secretary Kong smiled. Ambassador, if the Galactic Council wanted to dissolve itself and join the Commonwealth as individual member species, we would welcome them all, but not as the Council. Not as a hierarchy, no, as equals. Kalanara sat back in his chair. The idea was so radical it made his head spin. Dissolve the Council, give up the system that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. But as he thought about it, he realized that the Council was already dissolving. Species were leaving daily. The remaining members spent more time fighting each other than Gova. 1 year after humanity left the Galactic Council, the galaxy was unrecognizable. On Nexus Prime, Council Prime Vexteron stood alone in the Great Hall that had once housed 47 species. Now only 12 empty chairs remained occupied. The rest had either joined the Orcs Empire, declared independence, or simply vanished into the chaos. The mighty Galactic Council that had ruled for 3,000 years was dying. Vexteron looked at the final report on his desk. The numbers were devastating. 63 worlds conquered by the Orcs, 18 systems in complete economic collapse, 4 member species extinct, and every day, more species sent secret messages to Earth begging to join the Terran Commonwealth. Council Prime Kalanara entered quietly. We've received another request for evacuation assistance. Who this time? Vexteron asked warily. The Thraxi homeworld. The Orcs are massing for final assault. Vexteron closed his 4 eyes. The Thraxi, the gentle, peaceful species that the Council had rejected for membership 4 times. Now, they faced extinction, and the Council couldn't even protect its own members, let alone none. What can we do? Vexteron asked, though he already knew the answer. Sir, our remaining fleet is defending the core worlds. We have nothing to spare. And the humans? Kalanara's voice was quiet. Captain Park's fleet is already en route to Thraxi. Space Vexteron felt a stab of something he had never experienced before. Shame. The humans were protecting species that the Council had abandoned. They were doing the Council's job better than the Council ever had. Meanwhile, in Earth's command center, President Sun Woo-choi made a decision that would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Nome, he said, I want you to prepare our entire fleet for deployment. Admiral Hyun-Soo Nam looked surprised. Sir, that's over 300 ships, our entire military strength. Yes, Mr. President. Where are we deploying them? President Choi looked at the tactical display showing Thraxi space. The Orcs Empire had surrounded the peaceful species with 2,000 warships. It would be the largest space battle in galactic history. We're going to save our friends, President Choi said simply. Sir Admiral Nam said carefully, this could mean war with the entire Orcs Empire. President Choi smiled grimly. Admiral, we've been avoiding this fight for a year, but the Orcs have made it clear they won't stop until they control the galaxy. Someone has to stand up to them. And if the Council tries to stop us, the Council can barely protect themselves. They're not our concern anymore. Admiral Nam nodded slowly. Sir, if we're going to do this, we should do it right. I recommend we invite our Commonwealth allies to join us. Within hours, the call went out across Commonwealth space. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The Thraxi had saved human children once. Now the Commonwealth would save Thraxi civilization. 60 species answered the call. Ships from across the galaxy began jumping to predetermined coordinates. Zephyrian merchants who had left the Council, Rimworld colonies that had joined the Commonwealth, even some species that were still officially Council members but had secretly allied with humanity. Fleet. Admiral Sujin Wong commanded the combined Commonwealth force from the bridge of the New Earth. She had served in the old Council military for 15 years. She had never seen anything like this. Admiral, her communications officer reported, final count is in. We have 847 ships from 63 different species. Admiral Wang smiled. And the Cortex 2000 ships, ma'am. But they're spread out around Thraxi space in siege formations. Perfect signal, all ships. We all jump in 30 seconds. In Thraxi space, the Korthok siege commander was enjoying his victory. The pathetic catbird creatures would surrender within days. Their world would become another slave colony for the Kump Empire. Then space exploded with light. 800 Commonwealth ships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. They appeared everywhere at once, surrounding the Korthok siege fleet, completely. This is Fleet Admiral Wang of the Terran Commonwealth. Her voice broadcast to every ship in the system. You are attacking a Commonwealth member world. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. The Korthok commander laughed. His ships outnumbered the newcomers more than 2 to 1. Little humans, he snarled back. You are outgunned and surrounded. Surrender now and we might let you live as slaves. Admiral Wang's response was calm and professional. Very well. All Commonwealth ships engage. The Battle of Thraxi lasted exactly 17 minutes. Commonwealth ships moved like a single organism. Human tactics coordinated Zephyrian speed with Rimworld firepower. New technologies that the Council had never seen devastated the Korthok formations. Ships that could phase through solid matter. Weapons that could disable entire fleets without destroying them. Shields that could absorb enemy fire and redirect. Bit back at attackers, but most importantly, the Commonwealth fleet fought with something the Korthaks had never faced before. Perfect cooperation between dozens of different species. When the battle ended, the Korthak siege fleet was completely destroyed or captured. Not a single Commonwealth ship was lost. The Thraxi homeworld was safe, but more importantly, the galaxy had just witnessed the birth of a new superpower on Nexus Prime. Vexteron watched the battle reports with growing horror and amazement. 800 ships, he whispered. The humans coordinated 800 ships from 60 different species in perfect formation. Kalanara nodded. Sir, our analysts say it would take us months to coordinate a force that size. The humans did it in hours. How, sir? We think it's their communication technology. They seem to have instantaneous coordination across their entire territory. Vexteron realized that humanity had not just left the Council, they had evolved beyond it. Council Prime Kalanara said quietly, I have a personal message for you. From whom? Ambassador Kim. He says he would like to meet with you privately. This time, Vexteron didn't hesitate. The meeting took place on Earth, in a simple garden outside the Terran Federation building. It was the first time Vexteron had ever set foot on a human world. He was surprised by what he found. The cities were beautiful but not ostentatious. The people seemed happy but not arrogant. The technology was advanced but not threatening. Ambassador Daeho Kim met him at the spaceport personally. No guards, no ceremony, just a simple greeting between two people. Council Prime, Kim said with a slight bow. Welcome to Earth. Ambassador Vexteron replied. Thank you for agreeing to see me. They walked through the gardens in comfortable silence for a while. Finally, Vexteron spoke. I need to ask you something, he said. Why did you save the Thraxi? They mean nothing to you. Kim stopped walking and turned to face the alien leader, Council Prime, with respect. That question shows exactly why the old system failed. I don't understand. You think in terms of what species mean to each other, what they're worth, what value they have. Kim gestured to the garden around them. We save the Thraxi for the same reason we plant these flowers, because beauty and life have value in themselves. Vexteron was quiet for a long moment. The Council thinks in terms of power and control. Yes, and that's why the Council is dying. They sat down on a bench overlooking a small pond. Fish swam lazily in the clear water. Kim Vexteron said finally, I came here to ask if humanity would return to the Council but sitting here I realized that's the wrong question. Kim waited patiently. The right question, Vexteron continued, slowly, is whether the Council can learn to become something better. Can it? Kim asked gently. Vexteron looked at his hands. 800 years of life, 300 years leading the Council. All of it built on the assumption that someone had to be in charge and everyone else had to obey. I don't know, he said honestly. The species that remain are old and proud. They've ruled through fear for so long, I'm not sure they remember how to cooperate. Fear is a hard habit to break, Kim agreed. Kim, may I ask you something personal? Of course. When humanity left the council, were you afraid? Kim smiled, terrified. We had no idea if we could survive on our own. Then why did you do it? Because we realized that surviving wasn't enough anymore. We wanted to thrive. And we couldn't thrive in a system that was designed to keep us small. Vexter nodded slowly. The Commonwealth ... How does it work? Really simple, Kim said. Every species contributes what they can and receives what they need. Decisions are made by consensus. No one gives orders to anyone else. That should be chaos. It should be, but it isn't. Because when people feel respected and valued, they work harder than any amount of fear could make them work. They sat in silence for a while, watching the fish swim. Finally Vextron spoke. Kim, I have a proposal. I'm listening. What if the council dissolved itself? Not in defeat, but in transformation. What if all our member species joined the Commonwealth individually? Kim raised an eyebrow. That would be unprecedented. So was humanity leaving the council. So was the Battle of Thraxi. Maybe it's time for more unprecedented things. Kim smiled. Council Prime, if your species want to join the Commonwealth, they would be welcome. All of them, even me, especially you. It takes wisdom to recognize when change is necessary. Vextron stood up slowly. His decision was made.